Hey, what's going on everyone? It is Jed. Welcome back to another Division video. Now the other day I decided to jump onto the Division and play for a little bit, and my friends and I had a pretty good time. Now the way that we go about playing is we will go into a server and we'll run a few manhunts, we'll keep fighting people until that server gives up trying to fight us, and then we'll switch servers, go into a different one, rinse and repeat, and just keep clearing servers until eventually we just don't want to really play anymore. And while we're jumping into all these servers, meeting all these new people, I occasionally get recognized. Now for the most part, that's how we find people that we're not going to fight. They recognize me and we just don't PvP with them. There's lots of different situations that makes us not want to kill people. We're typically pretty friendly in the dark zone. We don't talk trash, or at least first anyways. And we typically don't harass players. Like if they don't want to fight, we don't fight them. We just let them do what they want to do. And we go fight, fair PvP. And sometimes they'll follow us around. They'll just see what we do. And then also sometimes while all of this is happening, I'm recording, making a video. And then my comment section is lit up with, wow, you're just multi-teaming. That's the only reason you're able to compete in the dark zone. And most of the time I just dismiss these people. I don't really acknowledge them because I know that's not the case. And the reason I'm mentioning all of this is because we ran into people the other night that just wanted to be friendly with us, and we had a good 10, 15 people trying to kill us. And I think there was like 6 of us all together in one spot, but only our team was going rogue. The other 2 were just kind of sitting there and talking to us because, they were friendly with us. And I got accused so many times that night by like the 10, 15 people trying to kill us that we were multi-teaming, we were cheating, we're gonna get banned. They sent me messages, which I easily shut down their arguments. And this kind of gave me an idea for a video like this. I would be talking about multi-grouping. What is it? When would you consider it to be a multi-group? And is multi-grouping okay? So without further ado, let's get into this. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is what is a multi-group and when would you consider it one? Now, if you see 8 people and they're all rogue and you just got focused and burned down by every single one of them, don't instantly assume that it was a multi-team. I cannot tell you how many times that my team was rogue and we set out to kill another group of rogues and, people that weren't rogue got involved in the fight. Both teams focused them down, got them out of the fight. And right before they got the slap, they yelled multi-group. This is bullshit. I could understand, that would be an extremely frustrating experience if that was the case. However, it wasn't, because while they were sitting in a loading screen and restocking, we were fighting that other group, which is not a multi-group. So I would say before you go out and start accusing people of multi-grouping, challenge that team multiple times. If it's the same people and they're all still rogue by the time that you get back and they're not shooting at anyone, that's a multi-group. If they are deliberately farming players with more than 4 people, that is a multi-group and they deserve to be called out for that. However, what usually happens in my situation, because I run with a group of 3, I don't get called out as much, but I do definitely get called out. And the situations that I get called out for, I'm sitting there with my group of 3 and 1 or 2 people are sitting there with us. They're not rogue, they're not fighting us, they're not fighting other people. I get called out for that all the time, but in no situation will that ever be a multi-group. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I've never multi-grouped before. However, I've never multi-grouped on purpose. I've never went into the dark zone with the intention to multi-group. The same situation will happen. Someone will recognize me or just be friendly. They'll follow us around. They'll, see what we do. They'll see that we're, having a blast PvPing, and then they'll want to join in. And then all of a sudden there's 5 people shooting, this team, and it's unfair. It is absolutely unfair. I do agree with that. But we don't just sit there and kind of exploit that, ability to multi-group. We'll usually just be like, hey man, we're going to go bounce, we're going to go jump server. We try to distance ourselves from, the multi-group, and we go off and do our own thing. That's how my team and I handle multi-grouping. And I think that's the way to go about it. Now for the next thing I want to talk about, is it okay to multi-group in the Division? A lot of you might be surprised to hear me say, yes, it is absolutely 100% okay to multi-group in the Division. The Dark Zone was marketed as a place where you can do whatever you want. It's a lawless area, no restrictions. It is essentially a free-for-all. You can go where you want, kill what you want, and do what you want. If you want to invite everyone on your friends list into one server and completely obliterate a team, you can do that. That's how the Dark Zone was marketed. That's how it was designed. However, there are very few people out there that are okay with that. I'm not okay with that. There's a lot of people watching this video that aren't okay with that. You're allowed to be critical. You're allowed to tell them, hey, what you're doing is scummy as shit, but they can do that. It is totally okay and allowed. Unless in some fantasy world they're able to implement a system that forces you to shoot people, that will always be a thing. That will never be taken out. People try to say that multi-grouping is a bannable offense, but those people are not telling the truth. It goes against the basic principles of the Dark Zone, this free area where you can just go wild. I'm not going to tell you guys to go out and multi-group because it's okay. It is still something that's extremely scummy and is frowned upon by a lot of players. However, if someone's threatening to get you banned, just don't listen to them. They're not telling you the truth. And I mean, at the end of the day, if there is a multi-group in your server and they're just kind of exploiting that ability that they have, spawn at a different checkpoint, jump servers. Multi-groupers aren't really that disruptive. They tend to stay in the same spot and just kind of farm the players that keep trying to challenge them, but they keep winning because they have more numbers. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about multi-groupers for a little bit. You know, I get called out for it all the time, and while I don't really expect or care if the comments stop, this is just something I can reference back to when I do get accused of it. As you guys know, I don't upload as much as I should, but leading up to 1.6, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things so I can get back onto a regular schedule when 1.6 drops. But since I haven't reached that point yet, you guys probably can't count on checking back into the channel and seeing an upload. So if you guys want to, this is totally up to you. Right down next to the subscribe button, if you're already subscribed, you can just hit that bell and you will get notifications for every single video. As you guys know, I try to post legitimate content. I try to avoid clickbait and all that other stuff. This channel exists to help you guys and to entertain. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Be sure to leave 100 comments and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, everybody.
Good fucking manhunt though, boys.
Oh my god.
Fuck. That was nice. Yeah, I'm not even mad, dude. Those kids are fucking booty.